Welcome to Nollywood Edits. Today I'm going to explain a popular Nigerian movie called Blood Sisters on Netflix. The movie begins with two suspicious men discussing about getting the job done, and one hands money over to the other. A woman called Sarah appreciates jewelry given to her by her childhood friend Kemi. It appears Sarah is preparing for her wedding, and Kemi tells Sarah not to forget her after her wedding, as they both appreciate each other's dresses. At the pre-wedding party, Sarah complains to Kemi, her friend, about her ex-boyfriend who keeps on calling her on the phone, and as Kemi advises her to block his number, Sarah's fiancé, known as Kola, appears, and they both greet each other with a smile. Kola immediately shows his dislike for the dress and emphasizes that she changes out of the dress. Meanwhile, a man who was paid to do something earlier at the beginning of the film appears at the wedding venue and books a room on assumption that he's there for a business trip. The bride parents also appear at the wedding venue, and they are greeted enthusiastically by the receptionist. Sarah appears again, but it seems she has changed out of her dress to a more conservative dress. Someone shouts for Sarah. It seems Sarah's ex-boyfriend Kenny made a scene at the venue's entrance. Sarah goes over to mediate the situation and tries to send him out, but her fiancé, Kola, and everyone already noticed the disturbance. After successfully kicking him out, Sarah is cornered by her future mother-in-law, who wants her not to embarrass her anymore. Sarah approaches her fiancé feeling terrible, but he questions her relationship with Kenny. He asks if she has been in contact with Kenny. When she replies that he called her a few times, he punched her in the stomach, leaving her crawling on the ground. At the grand banquet, Kemi notices her friend Sarah feeling down and mouths, asking if she's feeling alright, while Kola glances at the two. At the banquet, Kola displays how much he loves Sarah and kisses her on the forehead before the appearance of his sister Timei, who shows up and is greeted warmly by her mother and brother. But when she spills out all kinds of indecent words, her family is no longer pleased and they laugh it off as a joke. Later in the day, Kemi approaches Sarah and questions her again on what's wrong, and Sarah reveals that Kola hit her. Kemi is angry and tells Sarah to call off the wedding. Meanwhile, Kola's mom tells the butler to keep an eye on Timei so she won't embarrass the family. In short, Timei's character is kind of promiscuous and vulgar, so she's not the kind of child every parent is proud of. However, Sarah feels skeptical about the marriage and informs her mother that she wants to call off the wedding. Her mother is not pleased about the news and doesn't care if Kola beats her or not, so she warns her otherwise. It is the day of the wedding ceremony. Kola notices someone staring at him strangely. He notices someone following him. He corners the unknown man, and they end up in a nasty fight with Kola having the upper hand. He questions him on who sent him. After the incident, Kola suspects his older brother Femi. Femi is shocked to see the guy he paid to assassinate Kola at the wedding being escorted by security. Apparently, both brothers do not see eye to eye. Kola also informs his little sister that if anything happens to him, she should look for their older brother. Kemi informs Kola that Sarah needs to see him immediately, so he goes to see her. Sarah looks really down and unhappy. She informs Kola of her fears and tells him that she wants to call off the wedding. Kola gets really angry and starts hitting and strangling her. Kemi enters the room, finding him strangling Sarah, intending to kill her. She hits him and she's pushed aside. Kemi finds a gun around the premises, and without thinking twice, she pulls the trigger at him. Kola falls to his death immediately. The gun Kemi used on Kola was the same gun Kola seized from the assassin earlier on. The girls are frightened. They check if he is dead. Soon after, there is a knock on the door, which scares the living daylights out of the girls. They organize themselves, clean up the blood, hide the body and the gun before answering the door. Sarah's mom barges in, asking the girls what's taking so long, but turns 180 degrees when she lays her eyes on her beautifully dressed daughter. Luckily, she doesn't notice any anomaly. The ceremony proceeds as everyone showers money on the bride as she makes her entrance. She receives blessings from her parents, and as per tradition, is given a cup of palm wine to give to her husband, all of whom should be in the crowd. She goes around but can't spot her husband because apparently he's dead in her hotel room. Everyone searches for Kola, but Kola's mom feels her son has finally come to his senses because, as a matter of fact, she wasn't really optimistic about the marriage and had secretly wished for the marriage not to take place. Sarah's parents are worried about their daughter's marriage. Sarah and Kemi are frustrated, so later that day they go back to the hotel with knives and bags. They both take shots of alcohol before they proceed with butchering the dead body. They package the body and head out with janitor clothes. They are almost caught by the security guard, but on their way out they were still photographed by a cameraman. They load the body in the car and drive off immediately. They arrive at a secluded area where they dig with shovels to bury the dead body and gone. After the whole ordeal, the girls decide to play ignorant. Sarah's mother-in-law kicks Sarah out of the house, claiming that Sarah is just a vermin and needs to be thrown out. Moreover, after Kola's disappearance, the family's business needs to go on, so his siblings, Timei and Femi, argue on who should be given control over the company. They bring out each other's flaws in the process, so their mom shuts them off. Timei suspects Femi, her older brother, for the disappearance of Kola. However, life goes on fine for Sarah and Kemi until one day Kemi is cornered by a photographer who claims to have taken pictures of their doings at night on the wedding day and demands heavy ransom. The girls gather money to pay off the photographer. They go to a secluded place to make the transaction, but it seems to make the photographer more greedy to ask for more money. Femi and his wife invite Timei over to bribe her. They want her to keep her paws off the company, and in return they give her unlimited access to drugs and cash to spend as she likes, knowing full well that Timei was once a drug addict and is trying quite hard to curb her addiction. Timei refuses their offer, although tempted, and runs to her mom to complain. But her mom, being the neglecting and uncaring mother that she is, feels that Timei will always still find her way back to drugs and already considers her an unredeemable disappointment. Timei is heartbroken and also doubts her ability to stay clean from drugs, so she goes back to her old way of life. As for the girls, they ran out of money, so they took out the photographer by running him over with a car. Sarah meets with Kenny to catch up. She ends up breaking down in front of Kenny and tells him literally everything they did, even the murders. After thorough investigation by the police, especially Inspector Slow Joe, the family is informed of Kola's death. Kola's mom breaks down immediately. The girls freak out when they heard the news. Timei finds out about the news in a mental hospital amongst her brother's death. Apparently, Timei was sent over there due to her recent misconduct, which tarnished the family's reputation. Kenny is the key suspect of the murder of Kola because he was seen making a scene at the entrance of the wedding ceremony. Sarah learns about it and informs Kenny immediately. Sarah and Kemi are wanted by the police after further investigation, and Kenny is released. The girls decide to flee immediately.